Little Droid is a very small Metroidvania that only costs around $5. Not too expensive, comes in pixel art, and scratches that 2D itch I seem to have gotten recently. Now, unlike my usual videos, there are no Steam achievements to cover. This game does have some on the consoles, but not for Steam. Doesn't matter, as most are simply acquired from beating the bosses throughout the game, meaning that for this run, 100% consists of making it to the end of the game in hard mode. So, let's see how it goes. Right off the bat, we read that hard mode increases battery consumption and you no longer restore health after boss fights. More about this here shortly. The year is 2509. Our space station receives a distress signal from Earth. Responding as quickly as possible, we beam down to the surface. Our little droid has limited abilities at the moment, with a single jump, blue blaster, and only 4 bars of HP. Not to mention that energy bar in the bottom left is depleting rapidly. A short ways away, we encounter another droid. He accuses us of not attending to our duties on the space station, and then tries to put us in our place. While not the hardest boss in the Little Droid, this first encounter is one of the most grueling. You don't have any movement abilities, so actually attacking him is based around a long waiting game. His orb form isn't challenging at all to avoid though, so after only one mistake, he switches into shooting from up high. Here's where I ran out of energy. When this happens, you slow to a crawl and can barely move. Enemies can drop energy refills, which is the incentive to fight them rather than just run past, but this boss didn't have any energy drops. Lucky for me, he slightly bugged out for a second, allowing me to decimate his health as he just sat there and took it. His defeat rewards me with a double jump, so we can access the next area with these flying bat creatures, eventually making it to a checkpoint. Spend battery and colorful orbs here to refill health and energy, then step on the pylon to save progress. That's about as complicated as it gets from here on out. For the next hour, I wandered around dying to new enemy types and collecting max HP upgrades. You find blue chests all throughout the world that can be shot with your blue cannon. Usually they grant health back, energy shields that absorb a hit, or materials to refill your energy at checkpoints. As crazy as it sounds, this was the most difficult part of the game for me. Because hard mode increases energy consumption, I couldn't make it anywhere without running low, and once that happens, you lose the ability to avoid damage. Best way I could find to get past a low energy hurdle is to farm enemies. All of them respawn after about 10 seconds, you see, but this first area didn't have a good spot for farming. Eventually, I made my way past some turrets and spinning blades, reaching the next checkpoint. My HP could be refilled, but not energy, which doesn't bode well for this next boss. The brain offers me a new cannon that can break through certain walls. To get it, we would need to first defeat him. And, yeah, the second boss is easily the hardest in the entire game. I died about 15 to 20 times trying to get this one down. The first problem is we have to move around so much in order to dodge those projectiles that inevitably I will run out of energy. Thankfully, the boss can drop energy at random around the arena. So as long as we gun for it as soon as it spawns, we'll be golden. Then, the next problem was, wow, I can't deal any damage. He's immune when attacking and only vulnerable inside this bubble. However, in bubble form, he moves towards you, making it nearly impossible to dodge the boulders or asteroids he shoots out soon after. Let's just say this is a mess and a half to deal with. After plenty of trial and error, I found an unconventional solution. Turns out the asteroids you're supposed to jump through can be avoided if you duck down. Clearly, the bottom one still connects, and yet no damage is taken. In his red orb shooty phase, you stay ducked and move backwards just a bit after the second volley. The part that was still tricky is our damage phase. You don't get long to fire at all. Sprinting through him each time was the key, as you merely need to keep him from cornering you. Like I said, he actually drops energy, which was awesome, as I can only imagine it's impossible to beat this guy if you run out. Kinda crazy resorting to cheese tactics in such a simple game, but I can't complain. This brainy fellow drops Fire Flame, a new plasma attachment we can use to break down green vines. There was one of these at the very start where we first beamed down. Now in our third area, we face spooky ghosts, rolling boulder bugs, and lots of spikes. Many deaths occurred as I could not find the next checkpoint around here. This is kinda typical, as the map is definitely very helpful for finding new areas, but often you need to explore several directions in one room. This one was down a long hallway to the left, mostly out of my way. Grateful to have found it, I find yet another just moments later. Really? Nothing at all for the longest time, and now 2 in under a minute? With a shield at the ready, we encounter Tiki Man. He claims that new walls can only be destroyed with green flames. And guess what? We need to defeat him before he'll cough it up. Tiki Man defeated me a single time. Overall, he's very easy to deal with, but I hadn't seen any of the fight on the first try. Our fire shots deal nice damage, and once you jump up on either of the taller platforms, you can shoot on repeat as his big head floats around. Energy falls down in intervals, keeping you in the fight. He changes colors when he's about to attack, and aside from the stars shooting out, I didn't really get hit much at all. In fact, I was being kind of greedy. Ideally, you should get down onto the ground when he attacks, making dodging almost brain dead easy. However, after both of the other bosses not letting me damage them for huge chunks of time, I was enjoying the constant blaster bolts pelting him in the face. On 1 HP in a dream, the Tiki is defeated, granting me another new blaster called Green Splash. This one sends out 2 green orbs at a time. One travels in a straight line while the other curves upward. Very handy as you can hit enemies from much further away if angled correctly. Also deals 2 hits of damage up close, which is huge. Getting back through areas so far has been relatively painless. Once they give you a new weapon, you're more or less gonna stomp down everything that was even remotely a threat before. Shooting down a purple vine grants access to a robotic area. The enemies here were pretty cool, although I got very confused. Clearly, it looks as if you should be able to enter this door, but no. Near the end, we can shoot a red button with our blue blaster, opening up something around the map. Turns out going back to the beginning once again and going down an elevator led to a third purple wall, behind of which was hiding this plant biome. Large red flowers with toothy faces on them shoot spiky orbs at me. Not to mention there were turrets on all the walls with thorns growing up in several places. At the bottom was a special pink chest that took a lot more shots to open. This opened up to reveal a dash ability. If you have energy, you can press Y to dash both on the ground and mid-air. Super useful for platforming and also saves loads of energy as you move quite some distance with each use. About this time, I went back and explored most of the map again. With a dash, I could reach a few more chests along with another HP upgrade. Up above some large trees, we refuel at another checkpoint before meeting a rock golem. Imagine that. He's got a weapon that can break through different walls as well. The green golem was an interesting part of this adventure. We have just been given a weapon that hits twice on such a large target. We've also just been given a dash ability that greatly ups our movement capabilities. And with so much HP found around the map, we can afford to make really as many mistakes as we like. Heck, since you gain invincibility for around 3 seconds after taking damage, you could possibly tank every hit from this boss as long as you did enough damage. With his demise, we acquire the Rocket Launcher, a new weapon attachment that fires 2 rockets in a straight line. Indeed, this makes me very happy. After collecting a few newly accessible chests around the map, I died after running out of energy. Dang it, I wasn't even paying attention. Making my way back to the original checkpoint, we explored a red wall opening up a castle dungeon region. Problem was, I can no longer get here without running my energy dry. To resolve this issue, I decided to sit down near a purple flying thing and shoot it down every few seconds. Resources pile up, letting me head back and restock on life and basic movement abilities, as insane as that sounds. The point is, hard mode means you have to do an insane amount of farming anytime you go back to a longer area. Not the best difficulty change I've ever seen before, but hey, it doesn't affect you, the viewer, just me. 20 minutes later, we're back in the dungeon. Actually, no, now we're in a snowy biome because that area was insanely short. Some snipers are locked and loaded here, although you can deal with them quickly using the hopping method. Hop shoot, then do that a lot more. Too bad there's a door blocking my path, which I guess means we should probably head the other direction first. After all my farming for health, I have almost infinite energy restocks saved up. Oh look, another boss arena. The satellite here is what sent us a signal. Some alien is using it as a hammock of sorts. He says we will need to get into the hidden bunker. After first defeating him, that is. The floating orb was much more similar to the second brain boss. You can damage him only for a few seconds as he fires out green flames. Then you need to reposition while he's hiding in his metallic shell. I actually think the golem and the tiki bosses were my favorites, just because you could always hit them. This guy just felt a little boring at first, until I realized I did in fact have a way to attack him when he flew up. If he's hovering up too high while active, you could switch to the green attachment, allowing your curved bullets to just barely reach him. As he drops energy and we explored to get a bunch of HP, this was in the bag. Probably the best I performed so far in the game. I mean, only 3 HP lost, that's not half bad. As the alien falls, so does the energy wall around that button. Shoot it to open up the bunker, and on we go. The bunker was protected by a plethora of robots and lasers. Having the dash ability definitely made the game easier, but at the same time I didn't care because it also made things way more fun. Metroidvanias are awesome when you can move quickly, and this lets you double jump and zoom over any obstacle. We collect more max HP and press the red button here. I believe this activated an elevator closer to our current checkpoint, meaning we can now take on some skeletons and bees. The bees are a non-issue, as you can swap from green to red gun types and deal with them as you choose. The skeletons, on the other hand, were menaces to society. Probably the most difficult enemy to defeat, although easy to skip. Simply put, they block most of your shots. Gotta aim for the head while jumping over their thrown sickles. This water region had some bubble traps that were trouble if you weren't careful, and later on I found some odd pink spiky things. I made the reasonable decision to jump on them immediately, and yeah, they hurt you, so I'm thoroughly confused about those. With another checkpoint found, we head deeper down, finding some advanced tech lying around. The Death Station, as he called himself, merely proclaimed, "I have to destroy you." Fair enough, I suppose. You can only damage this machine by shooting its top section where the red panel is. If you jump on the small platform they give you, none of your shots reach it. You also can't get close to half the arena as he's constantly shooting out spiky caltrops. All of his bullets then explode into smaller bullets which fill the room quickly. There is way too much going on with the bullets, so I chose to focus purely on jumping over them when he was on the offensive. And when he wasn't shooting, we could jump to fire 2 rockets over and over. Took some damage figuring this out, but that simple strategy won only moments later. That is, we would have won if he didn't have a second phase, which I did not last very long in. On the second try, I found a perfect spot where the green gun would curve upwards and deal damage while you don't need to move or jump at all. Those clusters move around you perfectly. Some might say this was almost a little too good. Second phase is actually better though if we go back to jumping with the rockets, because his new large orb goes out in a straight line, and you can get it to fire away from you altogether. Green bullets actually don't work at all because the new orb destroys them before they can even deal damage. Safe to say I'm glad the first part's easily broken because holy bullets, there's a lot going on in part 2. Only 3 health points left and infinite energy, since I'm mostly jumping in place. The death machine is down, granting us our last attachment, that being a cold shot. This one deals the most damage but only fires 1 projectile in a straight line. After another 20-minute farming section, I was back at full health. Those pink spiky things from earlier actually were where we need to go. The new cold gun we have can freeze them for a few seconds, creating momentary platforms. Using them, we enter the factory. And here is where my tale of woe begins. There's lots of flying enemies here that can be tricky to deal with. No worries, since we have crazy amounts of health and a nicely located checkpoint. After collecting all the chests scattered around, of which there are many, we reach the next checkpoint where some tricky jumps appear. Jump onto the pink stuff once it's frozen and then boost over to a small hanging box. Dodge the many projectiles thrown at you and make it to a lever. Well, for some reason, I could not get this lever to do anything. It's so out of place, meaning it has to be pulled, right? But none of my different guns activated it. Odd. Making my way back through this section was a nightmare, costing me all my health. Another 20 minutes of farming, and now I go back up to find where I'm supposed to go. But of course, this elevator isn't active because you guessed it, the lever turns on that moving platform. Great. After looking up a video, it seems the blue blaster will push the lever down. Yep, that was apparently the only one I didn't shoot at it. Huh. Typical me doing stupid stuff as per usual. A long journey back down, and there you go. 1 lever pulled. Or more accurately, pushed, I guess. Which of course meant I had to farm my health back up again because the robots here were making my life a struggle. Jumping across another tricky platform of boxes, we ride a long elevator up. Avoid some more turrets and traps to ride yet another long elevator up. It's here we reach a long hallway with 1 lone robot at the end. That signal that brought us here is needed to activate a special portal device. Said machine has been turned on so that we would find it, and so we enter the mysterious portal, only to find ourselves warped to a completely different planet, stranded alone and in search of the droid who did this to us. There you go, 100% of Little Droid. I was not very happy to learn there was no final boss. All that build up in the factory area, which was honestly the most challenging place, then to just be teleported away. I did look this up and it seems a sequel is planned sometime this year in 2025. So maybe we'll get a good resolution there. Ultimately, it was pretty fun. The bosses were enjoyable for such a small game, and once I collected the dash, platforming was way more engaging. Probably the worst design hard mode I've ever experienced. Farming every time you beat a boss or get to a difficult section is just unnecessary. But overall, I had a good time. You could just play it on normal for like, what, $5? The music is absolutely amazing, the pixel art is fantastic, as it usually is, and those were genuinely some enjoyable boss fights, like I said. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this video, and if so, a like and comment helps the channel a lot. Mandragora is up next on my 100% list, but it's looking like that's going to be a long one, so we'll see how that goes. Any other 2D games you guys want me to play, be sure to let me know. While I work on my challenge runs for Outward, they are really hitting the spot. And yeah, that's about it. Thanks for watching, and I'll catch you next time.